What is going on, all of you? I hope you all are having a wonderful day. Today we're going to be doing, this is a very different video. Today we're going to be talking about Micah, the biggest rat in Red Dead Redemption 2, and probably the best to get into people's ear. Now, the first ever time you see Micah is when you're riding in the snow in Red Dead Redemption 2. You're riding with Dutch. Now, while you're riding in the snow with Dutch, there is a shadow that appears, and this is the rat of the game, a dirty little rat. I'm talking this guy is the reason why, and this guy got into Dutch's ear, and his name is Micah. This guy is the reason why the game went downhill. Now, for us through the game, you think Micah will be an alright character. He's a bit annoying for us through, but you think he'll be a bit loyal to Arthur, but that's until later in the game. Micah for us through the game is a bit loyal, but later in the game, that's when you really know his true colours. But how loyal or annoying Micah is in the beginning of the game, he is the reason why the game went downhill. At first he made Dutch think the Blackwater Massacre was a good idea, when like really it was actually very dangerous for the game and put them in a very dangerous situation. And Micah making Dutch go after the Blackwater Massacre was pretty dumb, because that put fingerprints on the Vandaline game, because the Blackwater Massacre was probably a piece of bait trying to get the van again to rob it, and then would put lawmen and government agents on their tail. So Micah making in Dutch's ear, making Dutch rob Blackwater, was a pretty dangerous and shitty move. Now later through the game, you will notice that Dutch is in Micah's ear other than Arthur's, which Micah is the reason why Dutch went after the Blackwater Massacre. This guy is the reason why Dutch went insane. Because in Chapter 6, you would notice Dutch is paying a bit more attention to Micah other than Arthur or John. Because Dutch thinks John is, since he got arrested in Chapter 4, that John's the rat. But like really, it was Micah. Now later through the game, you won't believe who's the rat if you're a new beginner. Now the news you're about to hear in a second is gonna blow your mind. Now after hearing that noise, you ride back to come tell Dutch, but then something shocking happens. Now after riding back and you come tell Dutch, Dutch will choose Micah's side. Dutch is a bit confused on who's the rat, but then later through the epilogue, which I'm not going to spoil it, you won't believe whose side Dutch chose. But first, let's just go until the final mission when you play as Arthur. During the final mission and the final scene when you play as Arthur, Dutch turns his head, walks away from both of them. And then in a couple years, in 1907, when he plays John Marston in the epilogue, you get your revenge on Micah. Years later in 1907, when you play as John, you get your revenge on Micah and you think it's just Micah there, but then you won't believe who's there. Now, in a couple seconds, you will be shocked who's there. It is none other than Dutch van der Linde, the guy who left John to die and left Arthur and turned his head on Arthur. Who knows what Micah and Dutch have been doing in a couple of years, but it is crazy to see Dutch van der Linde here, and you won't believe what he will do in a second. Now, Dutch is here, but you won't believe the move he's about to make in a second. Now, Dutch says he ain't got too much to say no more, and then what he does after this scene is shocking. He shoots Micah Bell, thinking that maybe after all these years, maybe after finally putting some thought into it, that Micah Bell was the rat. Maybe, now in a couple years later, he obviously hates John, but a couple years later, maybe like he found out that like Micah was the rat, and like this is like the least that he could do. And after this scene, Dutch just ignores John and then just completely walks off. And that is probably a sign that he has resigned and probably stopped being leader of the van der Linde gang. Anyway, that's the end of the video. I hope you all enjoyed.